needed to do in game one. They won handily, convincingly, and now we'll go after the Indians again in game two, hoping to follow the same script. Paul Molitor, for the first time, the challenge of managing a conventional doubleheader. You got to have your second game lineup ready to go.
Well, yeah, that's right. You see me smiling. This is fun. This is what the game's all about for the Minnesota Twins.
Menard's batting order for game two. Brian Dozier leading off. Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Eddie Rosario, Torrey Hunter back in right field. Aaron Hicks in center. Chris Herman will do the catching in the nightcap. And then Eduardo Escobar.
Well, they faced a very good pitcher in game one in Carrasco, but game two here, Cody Anderson making just his 15th major league start. He has been red hot since he's come off the disabled list. Now, he beat Kyle Gibson in his last start in Minnesota, and over his last 6 starts, he's 4-0 with a 1.98 earned run average, so he has been on fire.
Northland fourth defense for the Indians, and they too with a bit of a different look. In left field, it's Michael Martinez. Center field, Abraham Almonte, Lonnie Chisenhall at right, Chris Johnson at third, Lindor Ramirez up the middle, Santana at first, and Adam Moore doing the catching. And Brian Dozier went 0 for 5 in the first game, leads off the second game. The Twins scored a first inning run on a Joe Mauer home run this afternoon. And as he did this afternoon, Dozier goes after the first pitch and pops it up to the infield. Santana with the catch, and very quickly 1 out. 61 degrees game time temperature for the second game.
Well, the Twins saw him in his last start in Minnesota, and what they saw was a good fastball, curveball, very good circle changeup by Anderson, just 25 years old.
Twins got 10 hits, 6 2/3 innings. They got just 1 run against him, but he had a 3-0 lead before he threw his first pitch. Here is Mauer, clobbered a home run to center field, and he takes ball 1. And then started the 4-run fourth inning with a ringing double on an 0-2 pitch. 1-0, and now 1-1. Anderson, as we said this afternoon, and when he started against the Twins last week, he doesn't really fit the Cleveland mold for starting pitching, at least as it's currently constructed. Down and in, 2-1. He's a pitch to contact guy, and the rest of the guys in the rotation can strike you out many times over.
Yeah, 42 strikeouts and 85 innings pitched, and you know, he had that little bit of a left oblique strain, and really since he's come back off the disabled list, like I mentioned, lights out.
Tap to the right side off his foot. It's a foul ball, and 2-2 to Mauer.
Well, making his 3rd career start against the Twins back on August 7th against the Twins here. He lasted kind of what he just didn't pitch, but into the 3rd inning, gave up 6 earned runs to the Twins, and then he went on a disabled list, and then there's his last 6 starts.
And yet in his last start, the 10 hits that the Twins got against him. 2-2 to Mauer. And now 3-2 with Sano on deck. Wind has calmed down from this afternoon when it was blowing in from right field pretty hard. And Mauer wastes another one, dribbling it foul over near the Twins dugout.
And that's what we saw from Anderson in Minnesota. Even when he's behind an account, he'll go to that changeup. And that last pitch on 3-2 was that changeup, that circle changeup.
Another 3-2 and another foul ball.
Well, you wanted your veterans to step up in game 1, and Joe Mauer did that. The home run in the first inning, and then in the 4th inning started that 4-run rally with a double, and then later in the inning, Torrey Hunter with the big hit, the veteran.
3-run double. And Mauer pops up this 3-2 pitch, And it's the shortstop Lindor with the catch. 2 down. That'll bring up Miguel Sano. 5 plate appearances, a strikeout, a walk, a single in this afternoon's game. Sano, the designated hitter in both games, probably will not play third base again the rest of the year. Outside, ball 1. Down and away, 2-0. Twins hoping that the Angels lose their game. It just got underway a few minutes ago to the Oakland A's. They can win this night game and they'll be tied with the Angels for the second wild card spot. A high fly to left center field. And now cutting across, Almonte makes the catch near the edge of the warning track. A 1-2-3, top of the first for Cody Anderson. From the wild card competition in the American League, Terry Francona got his team there in his first year 2 years ago. Menard's batting order for the Indians in game 2. Jason Kipnis, the designated hitter, leading off. Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Carlos Santana, Lonnie Chisenhall, Chris Johnson, Abraham Almonte, Adam Moore, and Michael Martinez.
And it'll be Mike Pelfrey on the mound, making his 30th start and his 4th against the Indians this year. He's in 3 previous starts, he is 1-0 with a 4.02 ERA. And over his career against the Indians, 8 career starts now, he's 2-1 with a 3.35 ERA. So a big start for Mike Pelfrey, who would like to get at least 5 or 6 good innings out of him.
4th start against the Indians, 1 good one, 1 bad one, 1 in between. And here's Kipnis to get things started. Pitch is low, ball 1. His last start here against the Indians was his best start. Way back in early May, 7 innings, 2 runs allowed. Picked up the win in that game. Line to Plouffe. Wow. Kipnis with a bullet to Plouffe for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Kipnis, who had 3 hits in that first game, hits a rocket to Trevor Plouffe, and he's riding it on the grass, maybe taking a bunt away, and that'll break in your glove.
1 down, and now Jose Ramirez. Again in tonight's game, the Indians sending 3 switch hitters in succession: Ramirez, Lindor, and Santana. 1 strike to Ramirez. And missing down and in. The start that Pelfrey had here in early May was in the middle of an extended stretch through the first 2.5 months of the season, where the Twins could expect Pelfrey to pitch deep into the ball game. Foul back. You look at his starts in the first half, and there are a lot of 7-inning starts, a couple of 8-inning starts. But that's been the biggest issue for Pelfrey. In his last 6 starts, he's averaged 84 pitches thrown and less than 5 innings pitched. Not exactly what you want in the second half of the year. And that's exactly what the Twins hope to get from him here tonight. A deep, good start.
Well, the good part about baseball, you'd like to look and say, okay, you know, I was good for a while. Now I have had struggle. But you know what? This is a new ball game. This is a big game, like I mentioned earlier, for Pelfrey.
2-2 to Ramirez.
He's going to give up hits. He always has. He'll give up more hits to innings pitched. Just stay away from that multi-run inning.
3-2.
Make them earn their way on. And to me, Mike Pelfrey's not a strikeout pitcher. He never has been. In his career, he's averaged about 5 strikeouts per 9 innings. And usually guys are 7 or 8 if you're a strikeout pitcher.
Earlier in this road trip, a step forward, 5 innings, 6 hits, only 1 run allowed. But he was taken out after 5 innings and 85 pitches. Full count.
Got to have this guy swing the bat.
And he does. It's a foul ball that'll reach the seats.
Well, because Ramirez is a 220 hitter. You get no free passes to this guy. Kyle Gibson did a good job in game 1, making this guy swing the bat.
Jeff Kellogg didn't up the first game. He gets the plate in the second game. Brian O'Nora at first, Mark Ripperger at second, Chad Whitson at third. Alan Porter excused from the nightcap after doing plate duty this afternoon. And Ramirez takes a 1-out walk. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Rosario, Hicks, and Hunter, the outfielders. Kloof, Escobar, Dozier, and Mauer, the infielders, and then Chris Herman doing the catching.
Now, one thing Mike Pelfrey's been able to get, and that's double play balls turned behind him. 29 so far this year.
You really expect Lindor to make 2 outs in 1 at bat?
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Twins have had a hard enough time getting 1 out during his at bats. They finally got him out in the final at bat today.
He has hit into 12 double plays.
And a throw to first, close play. Pelfrey's actually had pretty good control, just his 44th walk in over 163 innings. That's pretty good, but his walks have come in bunches. When one happens, very often another one will follow. The Twins can not have that here tonight.
Well, and then it's who you walk to, like Ramirez right there. You know, that's a no-no early in the ballgame to walk a guy that is hitting 220.
Away, ball 1. We've seen teams run on the Twins in the second half of the year, and teams are 8 for 10 against Pelfrey and stealing bases. Chris Herman's done a better job behind the plate throwing out runners than Kurt Suzuki. And a breaking ball hits the corner.
Yeah, good slow curveball right there by Pelfrey.
I don't know, is what Anthony LaPanta and Roy Smalley did between games, is that a post-game show, a pre-game show, an in-between show?
In-between
show. Roy Smalley said toward the end there, Pelfrey needs to use all his pitches, and I think we just saw his first slow breaking ball there for a strike.
We don't see that often from Pelfrey. See the splitter, the slider.
Foul back, 1-2.
The fastball. There's really nothing been wrong with his fastball throughout the summer. I mean, he'll get to 94, 95, maintain even late in the ball game when he does get there at 93, 94. But what he needs to do is get some quick innings so he can get into the 6th or 7th inning.
1-2 to Lindor. That's punch to left, and Rosario hardly has to move. 2 down. And that'll bring up Santana.
That might have been a split finger down. Lindor went down to get it and hit the fly ball out.
Now Santana. I mentioned this afternoon a couple of times, I think it was the biggest start in Kyle Gibson's big league career. And I don't know that Mike Pelfrey, even though he's been around a lot longer, has had a bigger start than the one here tonight.
I agree. I mean, with the Mets for 7 seasons, they weren't in postseason, and they weren't, trying to do what the Twins are trying to do.
Strike on the outside corner. Pelfrey's first major league start came in 2006. So he's been at it a lot longer than Kyle Gibson. Needs to keep an eye on Ramirez here. And that's looped to left. That'll be down for a hit, and Ramirez will dig for third, and the throw comes to second base with Ramirez a little bit of a pump, or Rosario a little bit of a pump fake toward third, and he nearly got Santana to commit too far. It's a base hit, first and third, 2 away.
Yeah, Santana, kind of a little blooper down that left field line. Nothing anybody could do. But Santana did round first base and thought about, if Ramirez does throw, Rosario does throw to third, I'm scooting in the second.
So we talked about Rosario's throwing, and nice little play there, a non-throw by getting it into second base and keeping Santana at first. Here's Chisenhall with 2 on and 2 out.
Well, already a big out from Mike Pelfrey here. 2 outs, runners at the corners.
Chisenhall didn't play this afternoon. And he takes a fastball for strike 1.
Chisenhall 5 hits and 14 at bats against Mike Pelfrey.
Ramirez walked. He stands at third base. One strike to Chisenhall. And now 1-1.
Pelfrey, 31 years old, 6'7", about 250 in his 3rd season with the Twins.
And he hits the outside corner with an off-speed pitch. 1-2. To Chisenhall. Just missed the inside corner. That's the pitch Kyle Gibson tried to deliver 3 or 4 times this afternoon, just missing the corner with a 2-strike fastball.
Well, again, you see where Jeff Kellogg is sitting up, and the ball just inside Chris Herman, trying to hold it right there, but does not get the call.
20th pitch of the first inning for Pelfrey. Santana, I don't think, would be going any place, but Pelfrey checks him anyway.
I've said this before. Sometimes when there's runners on, Pelfrey slows the game down a little bit. His tempo slows down, and sometimes your defense ends up playing on their heels a little bit. Keep it going.
2-2 to Chisenhall. Not close. Full count. And Chris Johnson on deck.
Chisenhall, pretty good fastball hitter. This might be a situation, even though it's early in the ballgame. You got a right-hander coming up. See if they go maybe with that splitter right here.
Mauer playing behind the runner, Santana, who will take off on 3-2. And he missed. Second walk of the inning, and they're loaded up for Johnson.
Well, he went with a fastball and ended up down and in. Second walk of the inning for Pelfrey.
Johnson, a right-handed batter. And some first inning anxiety for the Twins pitching coach. Two walks and a bloop single, and the Indians have them loaded up with 2 down. Tapper to third. Plouffe digs out the second hop and flips to first.
Nice play by Trevor.
Indians load them up, leave them full. No score after 1.
Of game number 2 tonight. The Twins already won game number 1, and they are guaranteed to have a winning record this season. But Paul Molitor is far from satisfied with that. He said that the focus right now is not even on whether or not the Twins have a winning season. There's too much on the table, he said, right now. Too much to play for. He said winning seasons are really good. Don't get me wrong, but that is not on our minds at this time. We want to get to the postseason. That is our goal. Dick and Bert, Twins are not resting on the laurels of what they've achieved this year. They are hoping that they will achieve much more.
Yes, they have 5 games left. They want to win all 5 of them.
Bunted up the line, foul. Meanwhile, Mike Trout's hit a home run. The Angels have a lead on the A's. But a big moment early on with the Indians filling the bases in the first, getting a chance or having a chance to strike first against the Twins, but Trevor Plouffe dug out a short second hop and got the third out.
We kind of highlighted Trevor Plouffe before game 1 about his defense, not only the offense but also his defense. That was a nice pick right there. There's a nice grab by Anderson going up high to get that ball hit right back up the middle off of Plouffe's bat.
1 down in the second, and Anderson leaped just high enough.
That looked like the second baseman Kipnis was going up the middle, but a nice play by Anderson.
1 down in the second, just 14 pitches, 4 outs for Anderson, and here's Rosario. Rosario with a base hit his last time up this afternoon. And up and away, ball 1.
So I think all doubleheaders should be this way. I like it.
Rather than the split doubleheader?
Right. We have to sit around for 3 hours, and I think even some of the players say that.
It's poked to right, hit right at Chisenhall for out number 2.
Well, some guys can sit around for 3 hours. You get stiff for a little bit. Now you got to play game 2.
Torrey with the biggest swing of the bat. Came in the 4th inning with the bases loaded.
Yeah, double down that left field line. And Rosario, the 3rd run to score. And that made it a 5-0 lead at the time. Twins won game 1, 7-1.
And Hunter takes a strike. And Hunter flares it to right. First Twins hit. A 2-out single in the 2nd. And that'll bring up Hicks. Hicks entered the game defensively for Hunter late in the game, and now he'll make his first plate appearance of this doubleheader.
Aaron Hicks, 3 hits and 5 at-bats against Anderson.
Hicks sends a fly to left field, hanging in the air for Martinez. And the Twins are done getting a hit, leaving Hunter aboard. And to the bottom of the 2nd, where Kyle Gibson pitched 6 shutout innings, and he'll join us from the dugout. From Kyle Gibson this afternoon, and boy did they get it. 6 shutout innings. He scattered 4 hits and a couple of walks. Was outstanding. Pitched very well with the lead. Ended up leaving the ball game without allowing a run, and it was easy for us to say it was Kyle's biggest start of his big league career. But let's get that confirmed or denied from Kyle. Kyle, was it your biggest big league start this afternoon?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably one of the biggest situations that I've been in. I wouldn't say that these games are must win, but to this point of the season, with 6-7 games left, it's probably a must win for us. So to be able to go out there and put up a few zeros and pitch with the lead was a lot of fun.
Let me ask you, Joe Mauer, 2nd hitter of the ball game, boom, home run, his 10th of the year, 1-0 lead. Try to explain to the fans what that does to you. Relax you a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gotten myself in a situation a couple times this year where a couple runs in the first inning have kind of cost us the game. So to be able to go out there with a lead in that first inning definitely gives you a little bit more comfort. I understood that.
The blast to center field. Hicks going back, still going back, open for a bounce, and he'll get it. It's a leadoff double for Abraham Almonte. Pelfrey fell behind 2-0, and ends up giving up a double to Almonte. Continue on, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the last time I faced these guys, I gave up the leadoff homer to Kipnis. So you automatically go out there understanding that, a solo homer in the first inning doesn't give up the lead or anything like that. So, I mean, it definitely gives you a little bit of comfort. I'm sure, Bert, you've talked about it more than a couple times, but pitching with the lead is definitely more comfortable than pitching from behind.
Well, what you did is you put a 0 on the board, and then in the 4th inning, when they put 4 on the board, you did it again. You put another 0 on the board, and that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I tried to make it interesting that inning there with a couple outs, but Molly told me after the 5th inning that I kind of kept making them nervous today by walking the leadoff batter or walking somebody with 2 outs. So I'll clean that up hopefully before my next time. I don't need Molly being nervous in here every inning.
Batter is Adam Moore, the catcher.
Hey, let me ask you something, Kyle. I always talk about, they've said the word pressure. I always thought pressure's nothing more than you put on yourself. When you went into the ball game, you knew you had to go out and do what you're capable of doing, exactly what you did.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Definitely a lot there. You put a lot of the pressure on yourself. That was one of the questions post-game with the media. And for me, I understand the situation and the gravity of each game. But at the same time, it's still, another baseball game that my job doesn't change. I need to go out there 6, 7 innings, whatever it is, and put up as many zeros as possible and give the team a chance to win, as many times as possible. So, even though, a win is really, really important at this time for us, Pelfrey's job tonight, doesn't change. He just needs to go out there and give us a chance to win and give us as many zeros as possible and give the offense a chance to get the lead and the bullpen to close it out.
Well, there's a big strikeout right there of Adam Moore in his first major league at bat.
Kyle, you don't strike me as a guy who gets too wound up before a start. I mean, it's just like another day at the hotel for you, another day on the bus and all that. How important is it as these games become more important for you to maintain your same personality and your same approach regardless of the magnitude of the game? Yeah,
I think it's important for everybody, really. And that's one thing that having such good leadership has been big for us. We, like I've said a couple times already tonight, each game is important and each win is important.
That's into center field off of Pelfrey. Hicks charges. Here comes the runner. Hicks's throw well off the line and past Herman, and that will allow Martinez to go to second. I think that liner actually hit Pelfrey and then skipped into center field, and then Hicks's throw was off target by plenty, and the Indians get the first lead 1-0.
Yeah, that's what you don't want to do. What Aaron Hicks did right there. He overshot the cutoff man. And that ball getting away from the catcher Herman, you can see might have got a piece of Pelfrey right there, and then the throw right there allows Martinez to go from first to second in the scoring position.
A couple of well hit balls here in the second inning, first time through the order, and the Indians have 3 hits and 2 walks, and so far 1 run against Mike Pelfrey.
And it'll be an error charged on Hicks on the throw, allowing Martinez to get to second. Actually Hicks's first error of the year.
Kipnis, the batter, he lined out to Plouffe to start the ball game. Ball one. Kyle, you were talking about your demeanor and trying to treat every day and every game as if it's the same as the prior one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like to always be talking. I talk a lot as it is. I'm sure you guys have never heard that about me, but I like to talk a lot. And whether I'm starting or just in the bench, during the game, I try to stay with my same personality, and I try to not get too high, too low, in the middle of a game or any time during the season. So, I think it's important for everybody down here to understand. Obviously, everybody gets it that every game is important and you need a win, but when you start putting too much pressure on yourself and you start making it bigger than it is, that's when you start losing your personality, you start losing who your team is, and then maybe you don't start playing as well as you want to play.
Hey Kyle, this is your second full year with the Twins. You came up a couple years ago for a cup of coffee, more or less, but what have you learned over the last couple of years?
That's a great question. I've probably learned too much to sit here and list with you guys. That might get a little bit boring, but I think the one thing, not really the one thing, but I think a big thing for me is gaining the experience and learning how to deal with certain situations, and some of that is just being more comfortable out there. Like this situation right here. I mean, Pelfrey, he's out there executing pitches. It doesn't change whether there's bases loaded or nobody on. The goal out there every pitch is just to execute a pitch. And sure, there's some situations where it's more important or it's less important, or more pressure or less pressure. But the more comfortable you are out there, and I think that's one thing that's helped me out a lot this year, is being more comfortable on the mound in every situation. And that's going to allow you to execute pitches in those big situations.
I got to let you know that I watch. We come to the ballpark early. When you're not pitching, I watch what you do. I'm proud of the way that you go about your business getting ready for each start.
Into the Twins dugout.
And what I mean by your running, by your conditioning, by your mental part of the game, I think you've got a great future ahead of you as long as you keep maintaining that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, it's important. You get into these times, late September, early October. This is the first time I've pitched, hopefully into October. So it's going to be a learning experience, and you're not able to do that unless you take care of yourself from April through September. So it's something that has been ingrained in me, as whether it was in college or even my first 5 years here with the Twins, working hard and keeping your body in shape and giving yourself the best chance to be in condition and in shape when September and October comes around.
I got to be honest with you, I've seen other guys that maybe get the big contracts and they don't work as hard as you do, but keep it up.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, another thing too, Dick, I know you have a question, but as we have Kyle here, it's cooler. The weather cooled down. Today had to feel great. You almost feel like you're stronger, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if you're ready for it and you're prepared for it, yeah, absolutely. I don't mind pitching in the cold. So, for me, I love it being out there. I think hitters probably dislike the cold a lot more than the pitchers.
Hey, there's a chance.
But it's 60 degrees. That's not cold.
That's not cold, but it's different. I mean, when the sting's in the air, sometimes some guys like Pelf, I don't know that he ever pitches in long sleeves.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a long sleeves guy if it's 70 or below. So, it doesn't really affect me too much. Obviously, it's not affecting Pelf here because he never pitches in sleeves.
I always love this time of the year because you just feel refreshed again.
Absolutely. I love it.
Ramirez, the batter, and there's a chance that if Sunday's game carries the weight that the Twins hope it does, that, Kyle, you'll be asked to come back on 3 days rest. Is that any kind of an issue for you at all?
I mean, I don't think it's an issue. I smiled when you say that just because it's exciting to think about. Anytime that I can go out there in a meaningful game, I'm pretty excited about it. So if the day comes on Sunday and Molly wants me to take the ball, then I'm going to be definitely ready. I'll make any adjustment here over the next couple days that I need to be feeling fresh and ready to go. So hopefully we get it wrapped up and clinched before that point, and we don't have to worry about it. But if the day comes and my name's on the roster, I'll be ready.
We'll let you start getting your rest right now before the third out.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Well, in the course of this inning, the Indians have picked up a couple of hits and a run, and Pelfrey trying to strand Martinez at second base. Ramirez walked his first time up. He's up there now with a 1-1 count. And he takes up. Looked like it was over the corner, but he missed up high, and it's 2-1.
Well, right now it looks like Jeff Kellogg is not giving much on the inner part of that plate. And that ball came back a little bit, and Foxtrack says it was inside.
2-1 to Ramirez. That's to left center field, and that'll be down for a hit, and it's a 2-0 ball game. Ramirez cracking a double, an RBI double with 2 outs, and Pelfrey faced 11 men and retired just 5 of them.
Well, fell behind an account, came in with a fastball away, but it was up and away, and Ramirez, again, this is a guy you have to get out. Hits his 14th double of the year, driving in his 24th run. But you fall behind on these guys, they look one thing, and that's dead red, and that's what he got, the fastball.
Whether it's the count, the location, he's gotten 1 ground ball out.
Now the error by Hicks allowed Martinez to go to second. He may have scored anyway with his speed, but it's an RBI double.
2 on the board for Cleveland, and here's Lindor. Chopper to the right side. Mauer will go to the ball, backhand it to Pelfrey, safe at first. An infield hit, And Pelfrey looking into the dugout to see whether the Twins might challenge it, but it looked to me like Lindor beat it out.
Well, one of the hardest things for a pitcher to do is to get over there and not only find the ball, but also the bag. And the Twins, with Paul Molitor 1 foot out of the dugout, going to take a look at it. But see, you're looking for the ball. Now, where's the bag?
He's out. If his foot's on the bag, he's out.
Yeah.
See where his right foot is. If it's on the bag, he caught the throw before Lindor hit the bag.
This will give us the best angle right here. His foot was definitely on the bag.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at it because it looked like the ball hit the glove of Pelfrey before Lindor's foot came down, and this is an awfully big challenge here for the Twins, given the fact that the Indians already have a 2-0 lead.
I'll slow it down for you right here.
You can see right there, it looks like Pelfrey's foot is on the bag before Lindor's foot gets there.
Right, exactly.
So on the basis of that replay, Ryan O'Nora looking right there, on the basis of that replay, we think the inning will end.
Well, again, did you see what I'm talking about, Dick? It's hard when you're over for a pitcher to get over there and you're looking for the ball. All of a sudden, where's the bag? And luckily, it looked like Pelfrey got his right foot on the bag. Well, we'll wait and see.
The Indians, who already have 3 hits in the inning and 2 runs, a couple of doubles, threatening to send their cleanup hitter up with runners at first and third and 2 down.
Neil Allen and Paul Molitor talking maybe about how Pelfrey is doing here. Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief. He's behind the plate along with Brian O'Nora, the umpire that made the call.
So there needs to be convincing evidence that the play call on the field was incorrect. It appeared as if Pelfrey's foot was on the bag after gloving the ball just before Lindor's foot came down. But again, the significance of the challenge here, first and third, 2 outs with Santana coming to the plate, or the inning ends and it's 2-0. Pelfrey's already thrown 41 pitches and he doesn't know whether he's completed the second inning or not.
Now, as a pitcher, you are allowed to throw to your catcher, Chris Herman, if you want to.
And everybody waits and waits and waits. The A's have a 3-2 lead over the Angels. Barry Zito's given up a couple of home runs, but Eric Sogard had a 3-run double. And it's 3-2 in the top of the 5th inning. Oakland batting, and that's good news for Twins fans. Just always felt the longer these challenges go, the delay goes, the less apt there is for a reversal. And it is significant because Pelfrey now might try to get Chris Herman's attention, because this is getting on to be a pretty long delay here.
Well, you want to get a couple throws in if it does not get turned over, that you just don't go, you know, he's not going to let you throw a couple once they make a decision. There, now Mike's throwing a couple just to keep your arm loose.
And having done that, now the headsets are off. Well, Brian O'Nora got rid of his headset before the definitive word was passed along. And that issue might be whether Pelfrey's foot was touching the first base bag. Safe at first. It is not overturned. And I'm guessing, I don't know this, but I'm guessing they just could not establish Pelfrey's foot on the first base bag. So now Santana, the cleanup hitter, comes up.
He's got size 15 shoes. Come on.
The Twins have used their challenge.
Let's take another look right here. Looking for the ball. Where's the bag?
And the only thing I could guess, and look where Brian O'Nora is. I mean, he's staring right at the base. A delay of 4 minutes and 24 seconds for naught. The Twins have lost their challenge, and now Pelfrey in a big spot needs to get Santana already down 2-0. And that to the backstop, and Herman looked like he was crossed up.
Well, again, Mike Pelfrey threw only one pitch in that 4.5 minute delay. That's why I said he should get out on that mound and throw a little bit just to keep that arm loose in the first pitch.
No, yeah, he didn't have a chance.
No. Ball thrown right into the dirt over the glove of Herman.
Herman was looking back toward the mound. He was trying to figure out where the ball went. That's how wild the pitch was. A wild pitch making it a 3-0 ball game. And Lindor to second. And the Twins have activated the bullpen. J.R. Graham is warming up here in the second inning.
Yeah, that wild pitch, the 5th wild pitch of the season for Pelfrey. One and one to Carlos Santana.
Breaking ball missing. Pelfrey left the bases full in the first. He's faced 6 men and retired just 2 of them here in the second. Three and one, and I don't know that the leash is much longer for Mike Pelfrey. Lonnie Chisenhall, left-handed batters, up next.
Well, they're trying to work everybody inside, and Pelfrey has a sinker. That's how he gets ground ball outs. I quite don't understand the game plan that they're put together right here. Now behind an account to a fastball hitter.
And into center field, a base hit. Round third, Lindor will come home. Hicks' his throw cut off, and it's 4-0. The big play of this game might have been the challenge itself not being overturned and Pelfrey's inability to pitch well after it.
Also before. I'm sorry. Also before.
So an RBI single, it's 4-0.
Fell behind on a fastball hitter, gave him a fastball, boom, base hit. Jose Ramirez hit the RBI double, fell behind 2-1, fastball away. Ramirez looking fastball, hit the double, the RBI double.
So Mike Pelfrey faces 13 men, retires just 5 of them. It's 4-0 Cleveland, and Pelfrey will come off the mound, and J.R. Graham will try to sew up the rest of this second inning. With Mike Pelfrey giving up 4 runs, giving up 5 hits in the inning, and unable to get the third out after the declined challenge. So it's J.R. Graham's game right now with a runner at first and 2 away.
And J.R. making his 38th relief appearance. He last worked last Thursday against the Cleveland Indians. 1 shutout inning in the 6-3 loss.
Chisenhall, the batter.
Chisenhall walked in the first inning off of Mike Pelfrey.
And up and away, ball 1. Graham has had some good outings, some bad outings, and the Twins desperately need him to give them a good one here now. Hoping that he can pitch effectively for at least a couple innings, with Mike Pelfrey unable to complete the second inning. Runner goes. Herman's throw right on the bag, and they got him. Good throw by Herman. Cutting down Santana, trying to steal, and the second inning finally comes to a close. See if the Indians challenge it. Terry Francona's up out of the dugout already. Santana not budging. He doesn't think he was tagged. And Terry Francona says, no, we'll let her ride. A 4-run second. And the Twins will start their comeback in the third.
Your link to what's next by NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here.
Chris Herman finally put an end to the second inning with a throw out of a base stealer, and he takes strike 1. Twins took a 4-run 4th inning today that turned into being an insurmountable 4-run inning, and they are hoping now that the 4-run Cleveland second isn't insurmountable as they try to come back. 2 strikes to Herman. He'll be followed by Escobar and then Dozier.
And Anderson throwing strikes. 21 pitches, 15 strikes. 12 into first, only 7 to retire through 4 batters in the second.
0-2 to Herman. Kurt Suzuki was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts this afternoon. There was some thought that he might be asked to catch both games, and I don't even know that the 0 for 4 had anything to do with it. But Herman gets a chance to start, and he's out in front of an off-speed pitch, 1 away.
Well, that circle changeup right there, and Anderson picks up his first strikeout.
Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Boys and Girls Clubs help young people reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens through programs that promote character and leadership education, healthy lifestyles, and more. For more information, visit foxsportsupports.com. Boy, could you have two broader on the spectrum starts from your two starting pitchers in terms of how to perform in both ends of a doubleheader. Gibson 6 shutout innings, and Pelfrey couldn't complete the second inning.
Yeah, Mike was just all over the place, sad to say. Fell behind, had a couple walks in the first inning, left some pitches up, and the Indians took advantage of them.
1-1 to Escobar. Eduardo Nunez played short in the first game today. And 2-1. Fouled away. 2-2. Escobar and then Dozier. The Twins have seen a lot of Anderson in the second half of the year and managed to get 10 hits against him the last time they faced him. So far, just one hit, a 2-out single by Hunter in the second. And now 3-2.
Anderson, 25 years old. He got called up on June 21st. His first 4 starts outstanding. Then he had about 4 starts that were not very good. Put on a disabled list. Escobar takes a walk right there. But as I mentioned, his last 6 starts, 4-0 with an ERA under 2.
First time through the order, the Twins have a 2-out single and a 1-out walk. We'll see if Dozier can get something done. Looking for his first hit in this doubleheader. In each game, he swung at the first pitch and popped it up. This afternoon to short center, and tonight to the first baseman, Santana. And bunted in the air. That'll die in the grass, but roll foul. Dozier deadened the ball, but he bunted it about 60 feet in the air and a kick left into foul territory. One strike. Dug out by Moore. 1-1. Dozier's average down to 238.
Adam Moore caught Anderson when they were teammates in AAA.
Hit to right down the right field line. Chisenhall is there to make the catch in the corner for out number 2. And it'll bring up Mauer.
For the Twins now, number 7, Joe Mauer.
Indians taking a 4-0 lead. The last pair of runs scoring after a challenge that the Twins sent to New York, but the challenge was denied. The only reason I can think is they must have thought Pelfrey's foot was off the bag.
Right.
Because it sure appeared like he came down with with ball in glove and foot down before Lindor's did. And there were 2 outs, and we said at the time that was going to be a big challenge because of who was hitting next. A wild pitch and a single later, and the Indians had 2 more runs on the board. 1-0 to Mauer. A couple of extra base hits this afternoon. The Twins could use one here. Fouled off a leg. 1-1. Bottom of the 5th. Oakland still leading the Angels 3-2. Oakland with just 2 hits, but they've scored 3 runs. Checked his swing, and it's 2-1.
Joe able to hold up.
2 outs, and big plate appearance here for Bauer with Sano on deck. He is due to hit a home run. 3-1. Bauer with a home run in the first inning this afternoon.
Moore sitting away.
And ball 4, and Sano will come up with 2 men aboard. They were walked there, and the big man has a chance for a big hit here in the 3rd. Sano's last home run coming 11 days ago. Since 1961, our Carsoup.com trivia question: which team has won more AL Rookie of the Year awards, the Twins or the Indians? Well, the Twins have had 5. That's more than the Indians have had, isn't it? So that's my guess. Here's Sano.
I'll have to look in their media guide.
Popped him up to center field, and Almonte waits a long time for a tall fly ball to settle, and the Twins leave 2 on in the 3rd. Now tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Twins hoping that a 4-run second doesn't cost them the ball game. J.R. Graham, who got the last out of the second inning by throwing a pitch to Chris Herman, who threw out a base stealer at second, will face Chisenhall again and delivering strike 1. Chisenhall was at the plate when Santana was thrown out trying to steal. Chisenhall, Johnson, and Almonte in the Cleveland 3rd. Swing and a foul. Should congratulate the Toronto Blue Jays this afternoon. They clinched the American League East Championship. It's the first time they've clinched a division championship since Paul Molitor was on the team in 1993. Chopped toward the hole, and it'll go through. A well-aimed ground ball, and the leadoff man is on again here in the third.
Yeah, they had the shift on. Escobar was shading Chisenhall up the middle, and Trevor Plouffe from deep third base. The ball hit right into that hole, so Chisenhall gets his first hit.
Chris Johnson will bat. He came up with the bases loaded and 2 out in the first inning, and Pelfrey got him to bounce into a two-hopper to Trevor Plouffe, who ended the inning, and then the trouble began in earnest in the second.
Yeah, Trevor made a nice play on that little short hop and retired him at first.
Fouled back, 1 strike. The original plan was for the Twins to be well stocked with long relievers. Graham from the right side, but also Logan Darnell from the left side. But then Darnell, shortly after his September call-up, ended up getting a virus that developed into pneumonia. He lost 17 pounds and has been unable to help the team, not even traveling with the team on this last road trip. So it'll be Graham. The Twins hope for a while. 1-1 to Johnson.
Longest outing on the year for JR. That was that 4-inning outing that he actually made a start, his first major league start against the Brewers. He has gone 3 a couple times as a reliever.
Snap bat, and Graham pushes the ball toward first base. He'll get the out. Had a chance perhaps for a double play. Instead, Chisenhall goes to second. Listen up and find out how you can buy tickets to potential postseason games here at Target Field. Now available. The general public's able to buy tickets to potential wild card games as well as any division series games played at Target Field. They're on sale now. All you have to do is visit twinsbaseball.com. Pick up your tickets to October. And the batter's Abraham Almonte. Pelfrey fell behind him and then gave up a booming double to center field. That started the trouble in the second. Strike 1. Nice stop at third by Plouffe. Backhands and fires and got Almonte for out number 2.
Another nice defensive play by Trevor Plouffe. Almonte taking that fastball and then trying to hit it down that left field line, but Trevor makes a nice play, diving to his right, comes up with it, and gets a second out at first base.
I don't know that I've seen a third baseman improve his throwing any better than Trevor Plouffe has since he transitioned there a couple of years ago. His throws would sail on him, very unpredictable, but it seems like every throw is chest high to Joe Mauer at first base now. Here's Adam Moore, struck out in the middle of that 4-run second inning. Up and away, ball 1.
Yeah, Adam Moore just getting called up. He has had, I said it was his first major league at bat, but no, he's had at bats with the Mariners, Royals, Padres. Now spent the season down in AAA, Columbus, where he hit .282.
Up and in, 2-0.
Adam Moore, 31 years old, originally signed by the Seattle Mariners out of the University of Texas at Arlington.
Fouled away. Another option for the Twins in this game where they are going to need a lot of relief help is Ricky Nolasco, who's not pitched since May. Ryan Dunsing, the next guy loosening up. 3-1. And 3-2. Graham tried to pitch around the leadoff hit by Chisenhall. Into right field, a base hit. Chisenhall to third is going to be waved around. Here's a throw from Hunter to Herman. Not in time, and the Indians lead it 5-0.
Well, Adam Moore picking up his first RBI as a Cleveland Indian in his second at bat. His 21st Major League RBI. Got a 3-2 fastball, hit it past the diving Mauer at first base. Got with 2 out. Chisenhall off with a crack of the bat. It got to Torrey very quickly here. Torrey charging the ball and getting it back in as quick as he can. You see Chisenhall not stopping. Head first slide, able to get that left hand on home plate before Herman could touch him on the calf.
Graham unable to fare much better than Pelfrey did. He faced 4 batters, retired just 2 of them. Gone. It's 5-0 Cleveland. The Twins will return home to take on the Royals this weekend at Target Field. It's Fan Appreciation Weekend both Friday and Saturday, presented by U.S. Bank. All fans receive a Twins stocking cap presented by West Bend. Sunday's Kids Appreciation Day, when the first 10,000 fans 14 and under will get a TC stocking cap courtesy of our family brands. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com. Get your tickets today.
Well, Brian Dunsing coming out of the bullpen, making his 54th relief appearance.
And he'll face Michael Martinez, who singled in the first Cleveland run with a single in the second inning.
Martinez, a switch hitter, one of 5 switch hitters that the Indians have.
And missing the inside corner, ball 1. Dunsing's had some health issues. Been hit pretty hard by a flu bug that's gone through the clubhouse.
Did not pitch in Detroit, making his first appearance on this road trip.
Chopper left side, and Escobar on the run fires to Bauer, and that takes care of the third inning. But another 2-out hit for the Indians and another run.
the second inning off of Mike Pelfrey. There's an RBI double by Ramirez, an infield hit by Lindor. 2 outs right there, and then Lindor hit this little chopper right there. Pelfrey got over there, looked like he had his foot on the bag. The Twins challenged it. They lost the challenge. The next pitch, Pelfrey threw a wild pitch, and an RBI single by Santana made it a 4-0 lead. Pelfrey came out of the ball game. Graham worked last inning. A couple outs, gave up a run. And for the second straight start, Anderson getting some run support. Remember, he had that 6-0 lead after 3 innings in his last start when Kyle Gibson faltered to get out of the 4th inning.
1-0 to Plouffe. Twins need to score the next run or runs. Strike 1, and it's 1-1. Plouffe, Rosario, and Hunter hitting in the 4th. Twins scored 7 runs, and the 4th inning was their big inning, scoring 4 times against Carrasco. On the outside corner, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, good curveball right there by Anderson.
Plouffe strikes out. 1 away.
And Anderson picking up his second strikeout, so he went fastball, curveball, and then a very good changeup. You know, here's a guy that really in high school is more of an outfielder. He didn't really pitch in high school, went to junior college. He had said he had trouble hitting a curveball, and the coach said, hey, how about pitching? And he did. Signed by the Indians in 2011 out of junior college. Started this year at Double-A. Now making his 15th major league start.
Up and away, ball 1.
Out of Quincy, California, northeastern part of California.
We've seen him now 3 times. Does he remind you? I think he's a little bit bigger than Brad Radke, but his delivery with the way he brings his leg up, looks down as Radke did. Good changeup. Pitch fouled back.
Hey, straight over the top. So, you know, if he keeps that left shoulder in, looks like he does a good job of that. He does a good job of hiding the ball. It's a big kid.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 235. Radke was significantly smaller than that. Same type of pitcher, though. A pitch to contact guy. 2-1 to Rosario. And now 3-1 with Hunter on deck.
Before Anderson got called up, again, he started at Double-A, moved up to Triple-A. 13 minor league starts. He had an ERA of 1.87 combined between Double-A and Triple-A.
And a liner to Lindor. And Rosario's hit 2 liners for outs, 2 down. Celebrate the start of the 2015-2016 season with Fox Sports North at the Minnesota Wild Wake Up Rally Thursday, October 8th. Stop by for free coffee, Wild magnet schedule, other items starting at 6 a.m. on the Skyway level of US Bank Plaza in downtown Minneapolis. For more details, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events.
Yeah, go Wild. They are looking forward to having a Stanley Cup season.
Right center field, chased by Almonte. He gets there.
Another quick inning.
A 1-2-3-4 for Cody Anderson.
Been red hot. A lot of those are one-run ball games, and they're winning them late. That's a good sign for a club. I know when even in '87, or '79, when I was fortunate to be on World Championship teams, boy, you stay close, and then you just kind of knew you were going to win at the end. That's a good feeling.
It's not that what happens to the Astros doesn't matter anymore. It could, but the team now to beat, the team to catch, the Angels. And you saw the line draw. There is no show money in this wild card race. It's win or place. You get the first 2 spots, and if you finish third, it's a nice pat on the back and see you next year. Dunsing on the ground, bobbled by Dozier, and it'll be a rare error, and Kipnis will reach on an error to Brian Dozier. Kipnis busting it down the line, and Dozier didn't field it cleanly, and not only that, it kicked away from him.
Yeah, watch this ball right here. Brian getting in front of it. It came up on him a little bit. By the time he could get it over to Mauer, Kipnis just beat it out, but it will be an error on Brian Dozier, just his 8th error of the year.
Earlier tonight, an error on Hicks on a throw from center field. This has not been a good ball game for the Twins. And now Dunsing will pitch to Ramirez. And a belt-high strike.
I got to be honest with you, when somebody made an error behind me, it was my responsibility, I felt, to pick my defensive player up, because how many times does Brian Dozier take me or help me get out of an inning? Let's see if Brian Dunsing can do that here.
Nothing about what happened that can't be taken care of with a ground ball hit at somebody.
Right.
2 strikes to Ramirez. Well, the Twins have to stop giving up runs here. They gave up 4 in the second, another one in the third. Now the leadoff man is on because of an error.
Well, Dunsing's had 6 double plays turned behind him. See if he can get a ground ball right here. Ramirez pretty speedy.
Fouled back. Still 2 strikes.
Ramirez, just 23 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Good minor league numbers. A career .310 hitter in the minor leagues over 5 seasons. Going to get a chance to play some here.
Popped up left side. Plouffe in front of Escobar. 1 down. Potentially terrible news for the New York Mets. Yoenis Cespedes left the game tonight in the 3rd inning after taking a fastball off his left hand. He has been the catalyst for the Mets since they got him from the Tigers, and I think all of baseball is hoping that that isn't anything serious.
Yeah,
so,
hopefully it's just precautionary.
Sanford Health Injury Report. Here's Lindor. Lindor involved in the controversial play. Chopper to the right side. Mauer fielded, flipped to Pelfrey. We thought that the call would be overturned because it appeared that Pelfrey had the ball, the throw from Mauer in the glove with his foot on the bag before Lindor's foot hit the bag. The only reason we could come up with for it not being overturned. There's a ball in the dirt and a throw to second, and if Dozier had been able to hang on to a one-hop throw, they may have tagged out Kipnis, who gets second on a stolen base attempt.
Yeah, Kipnis, good jump right there. Got a good strong throw by Herman. And it was a little short and a little hop, and Brian Dozier tried to get it in his glove, and unable to do that.
2-0 now to Lindor.
Kipnis gets a stolen base, his 12th of the year.
Anyway, the only reason we could come up with for the call not being overturned is they did not place Pelfrey's foot on the bag. It clearly was a pivotal point in the inning and very likely the game. Simply because Pelfrey, the next pitch after play resumed, a delay of 4.5 minutes, uncorked a wild pitch and then gave up a base hit. The runner from third scored. The runner from first came around to score. That doubled the lead from 2-0 to 4-0. 2-1. Dunsing to Lindor. To right and deep. Hunter going back. And it's gone. A home run to the opposite field. And the Indians taking advantage of some mistakes by the Twins and so far enjoying a run.
Well, Francisco Lindor has been a pest to the Twins since he joined the big club on June 14th.
He's hitting .500 against the Twins.
Unbelievable. His 12th home run of the year. Taking that fastball the other way.
You can see the flag back there. That's kind of a protected area, but still, if it's anything, it's into the wind, and he hit an opposite field home run.
Hit a home run here on Monday night. That against Tommy Malone. The only damage really Malone gave up until the 6th inning.
Here's Santana in the dirt, ball one. Not only has Pelfrey struggled here tonight, Graham faced 4 men, could only get 2 outs. And now Dunsing, although the leadoff man here in the 4th reached on an error, he's having a hard time getting outs. 1-0. Nine hits for the Indians, just 1 for the Twins, and there's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
For Dunsing, now only the 5th home run he's allowed this year, making his 54th relief appearance.
Michael Tonkin, who finished up the first game, might be asked to pitch some here. It's only 1 out in the 4th inning. The Twins have a long ways to go in what is morphed into a lopsided game here. And now 2-1. Popped up, it's back and out of play. Two and two. Santana strikes out, 2nd out of the inning.
A good fastball up in the zone, and Santana swings through it. First strikeout for Dunsing.
And now Chisenhall with the bases empty.
Chisenhall a walk into first, and then he led off the bottom of the 3rd inning with a base hit, later scored.
Breaking ball over, strike 1. We've got 2 good pitching performances in this series. Tommy Malone Monday night, Kyle Gibson this afternoon. Mike Pelfrey continued to struggle. That's Pelfrey in the background, and you want to know how individuals have fared. All you need to do is look at that shot. Desconsolate Mike Pelfrey. One and two. to Chisenhall. Indians have scored in every inning but the first so far here tonight, and they loaded the bases in that inning. Popped up. Loof over for a look, but he has no play.
Always tough to win both ends of a doubleheader, though. I remember Gene Mauch always saying that, you know, doubleheaders are about 70% are split.
One and two to Chisenhall. And now 2-2. There hasn't been one, beg your pardon, there was 1 point in the third inning when 2 Cleveland batters in a row were retired. Johnson and Almonte. That's been it.
Had a way to look for the positives.
Rosario.
Nice catch.
With a foul ball catch to end the inning. Good play by Rosario.
There you go. 2 in a row now.
2 in a row here in the fourth. Twins won handily today. So far it's the Indians leading. You saw our Mountain Dew fans of the game very briefly. Cody Anderson will lead things off. Aaron Hicks will against Cody Anderson. There, Mountain Dew fans of the game, enjoying ice cream on a cool night. Anderson leaves one up, and it's 2-0. Have their work cut out for them. They'd like to start pecking away at what has become a big lead for the Indians. And a strike called, 2-1. Hicks, Herman, and Escobar, bottom third of the Twins lineup. Twins have just one hit. They've taken a couple of walks against Anderson.
Anderson doing to the Twins again what he did to them last Thursday in Minnesota when he pitched 6 shutout innings, and then Torrey Hunter hit a home run. And later in the inning, they took him out 6 2/3 innings, only 1 run allowed on 9 hits.
Fouled away, 2-2. Phil Hughes getting loose in the Twins bullpen. Hughes was supposed to make the start here on Monday. And dealing with a flu bug. Will pitch out of the bullpen. Tap to the right side. And Ramirez flips one away. That's the thing that's been remarkable about this Twins team staying in contention. They've literally gone series to series with their starting rotation. There hasn't been a rotation for Paul Molitor to employ really since the middle of the month. They've, you know, who's healthy, who's not, who doesn't have the flu, things like that.
Well, you have three guys, you know, and the other two that they were kind of, you know, you have Duffy, you have Santana, and you have Gibson.
Yeah, they've been the fixtures.
Right.
They were counting on Hughes to kind of lead them down the stretch, and some back issues, and now a flu virus. Pelfrey continuing to get starts, not because he was pitching particularly well, just there weren't any other options. Inside now, 2-1 to Chris Herman.
Well, I know that man right there, Mike Pelfrey. Nobody feels worse than he does right there. And I'm sure he was hoping, oh boy, you know, if I can just get into the 6th or 7th inning, give me a good 5, 6, 7 innings. But it just didn't work out.
And Honora says that Santana got a foot on the bag there.
Yeah, the throw pulled Santana off, but he reacted nicely to get Herman out at first base. Herman limping a little bit. Anderson's throw takes Santana off the bag, but I think he's able to get that right foot back on before Herman could get over there.
Doesn't take a brilliant lip reader to.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
He just released it and knew right away what was going to happen. 1-0. Well, it's probably not going to matter, but the Twins have already expended their challenge, and Santana did have his foot on that bag for the play, but the Twins, if he had not, really had no recourse in the 5th inning. They having lost the challenge in the 2nd inning. 1-1 to Escobar, and a foul back.
Yeah, and we never really got a good shot whether Mike Pelfrey. That's the only thing that could have stayed with that decision, because Pelfrey's foot must not have been on the bag.
They couldn't establish it on the bag. That's the only thing I can come up with, because we saw a number of different angles where it looked like Pelfrey's foot came down with the ball in the glove before Lindor's foot hit the bag. Now, it was 2-0 already at the time. Here's the controversial play and the challenge that the Twins employed right there. And Brian Honora had the best possible look, looking right down on the bag. And we did not have a replay that showed that Pelfrey ever touched the base. Here's a high fly to right field. Treating as Chisenhall.
And another 1-2-3 inning for Anderson.
5 shutout innings against the Twins and a 7-0 lead.
Don't forget, between home games, you bring your Circle Me sign. And if you get circled, you may find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner circle where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Many smiles from those Twins fans wearing jeans tonight at the ballpark. They'd be smiling if they were wearing Zubaz. A reserve seat for the game Friday when the Twins take on the Royals, and you could also end up with your own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zubaz pants. You can take advantage of the special offer available exclusively by logging on to twinsbaseball.com/Zubaz. Now, I've been reading that for about a month, but in reality, isn't everything a limited edition? I mean, they make so many of something, and that's it. So everything's a limited edition. That coat you're wearing right now is a limited edition coat.
How about a gallon of milk?
You can't get more than a gallon in there. It's a limited quantity.
Good point.
Phil Hughes will pitch out of the bullpen.
Phil Hughes making his his second relief appearance, his 27th appearance overall.
He'll face Chris Johnson leading off the fifth. Twins hope that Hughes can pitch effectively and for a few innings. And a challenge here. The Twins have already used too many pitchers to cover 4 innings.
Well, Phil Hughes, he was scheduled to pitch on Monday, but then became ill. His prior start against the Indians, he had pitched 5 shutout innings in the 4-2 win, that coming last Wednesday in Minnesota. His only relief appearance came in game 2 of that doubleheader we had against the Angels. He pitched 2 innings, gave up 1 run. That was a home run to Mike Trout.
Two and 1 to Johnson. Almonte and Moore will follow. And fouled over the Twins dugout.
You know, you go back to that start that Phil Hughes had on Wednesday. It was 5 innings, no runs allowed. Twins won 4-2. I thought he pitched in that ball game. Not through. I thought he pitched. He changed speeds well, mixed in his curveball, good changeup. And what we have seen really in the second half, that fastball doesn't have 93, 94. That fastball right there at 88. Excellent control.
Full count though to Johnson. He came inside and got a foul ball. Almost went into the Twins radio booth. I heard something metallic. Was that the?
That was Gladden's glove.
That was Gladden's glove. I thought it might have been the railing in front of the Twins radio booth. It hurt, and there's the glove. Full count again to Chris Johnson. And a number back to the mound. Hughes has an easy play. 1 down.
See, that's a breaking ball right there, and Johnson right off the end of the bat hit it right back to Hughes.
Almonte started the 4-run second with a double. Mike Pelfrey fell behind him, and if you just joined us, Mike Pelfrey lasted an inning and 2/3 in his certainly most important start in a Twins uniform. Suppose potentially could be his last start in a Twins uniform. Pelfrey a free agent after this year. Nice stop by Mauer going to his right, but Hughes is not at the bag.
What a great play by Joe Mauer. You expect that pitcher to be over there, but Phil was not there. Well, Monte will get an infield base hit. That's a shame.
Great stop by Mauer. We've seen more and more of those from Joe this year.
But look, Phil, little lazy getting over there. That's just not right.
So it'll be a base hit, and Moore will bat. Moore with an RBI single his last time up. A 2-out hit.
Yeah, he hit that ball sharply to Torrey Hunter. Chisenhall scored from second base on the 2-out single by Moore.
It's lifted foul into the seats. One strike to the Cleveland catcher. Oakland trying to come back. It's 5-4 in the top of the 7th in Anaheim. That's to center and hit well. Hicks drifting back and now making the catch out number 2. The Twins started the year breaking, well, not quite breaking spring training, but at the end of March, imagining Hughes, Santana, and Nolasco, the 3 big free agent signings for the last 2 off seasons, leading this team through the end of September in the rotation. Well, Santana has pitched well, but he wasn't able to help at all in the first half of the year. And Hughes and Nolasco haven't helped much in the second half of the year. You got Hughes pitching out of the bullpen. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ricky Nolasco warming up. He warmed up the other day in Detroit. And that is not the role that they were each signed to. But that's where the Twins have been with injuries, illness, and other matters. 1-0 to Martinez. On the ground, hit right to Dozier, and he gets the ground ball, flips to Mauer, and that takes care of the 5th inning. On to the 6th, and the Twins need a great second half comeback here tonight. Thank you very much. And boy, the Twins would be given a huge break if they lose this game and the A's, starting Barry Zito against Garrett Richards, are somehow able to beat the Angels tonight. That would mean the Twins would pick up a half game on the Angels with 4 games left for each team. Now tomorrow the Angels open up a 4-game series in Arlington, which will help decide not just who wins the wild card, but who wins the American League West. Dozier pulls it foul.
Yeah, Houston has off tomorrow, and then they start a 3-game series in Arizona against the Diamondbacks.
You don't like having a game like this, and this has just been an awful start to this game. Dozier drives one down the right field line, foul. 7-0 lead, and the Twins still hope to come back and at the very least make a game of it. Still hope to win the game, but you have a game like this, and then an apparent pitching mismatch, and it doesn't go as expected. Twins might be given a reprieve. Here's a pop-up, and Santana makes the catch, and Dozier's now 0 for 8 in this doubleheader.
Yeah, Brian's got the pop-ups going too. Hitting a lot of fly ball outs.
One down, that'll bring up Mauer.
Twins have only one hit. That was a 2-out single by Torrey Hunter in the second inning. Cody Anderson making his third start this season against the Twins. Right now it's 67 pitches, 42 have been over the plate.
Up and away. You see Anderson, that's about as hard as he can throw. That was 90. Carrasco this afternoon was throwing 95. Kluber can throw 94. Danny Salazar can throw harder than anybody on this in this rotation for Cleveland.
Yeah, but you look at Anderson, he's a pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a young guy that again started at AA, got called up, and even the not minor league numbers outstanding as far as walks to innings pitched. Came into the ball game 20 walks to 85 innings pitched. Has walked a couple here tonight. It's been only 3 ground ball outs off of him, 11 fly ball outs to go along with his 2 strikeouts.
2-1. And now 2-2. That's why a lot of people in baseball think if this Indian team can beef up its lineup, they're poised with some good young pitching and some very good arms in the bullpen too to make a move in 2016. Tap to the right side. The problem is, the theory in baseball is hitters compared to pitchers, you can get hitters for 50 cents on the dollar. There's a lot more of them out there, but the Indians haven't been inclined to do that, and when they have tried, they've had kind of the same success the Twins have had trying to sign free agent pitchers. Nick Swisher didn't work out very well. Michael Bourne didn't work out very well. 2-2 and fouled away. So the Indians traded those 2 players and have gone with youth, hoping that the likes of Lindor and Brantley, and then you fill in a few spots after that. The lineup next year will be more productive with the good pitching. 2-2. Mauer taps it to the right side. Should be an easy play for Ramirez. 2 down. Minnesota Timberwolves are hosting a free scrimmage at Target Center Monday, October 5th at 7 p.m. You got to reserve advanced seats, and for details visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on the upcoming events tab.
Should be fun to watch the Wolves this year. All those young kids working in with some veterans. Hopefully they'll have a successful year.
Having a hard time processing the fact that this is September 30th.
Well,
the season's gone by fast. They all do. But this has been particularly September seems like it's gone fast. Maybe that's just in relation to some other Septembers where the Twins were out. Well, not really.
Like we would never end.
Yeah. But I'll stick with my original statement. The season always goes fast, but this September for some reason seems like it's flown by.
Well, every game has been really so important for the Twins to stay in that wild card race. Ryan O'Rourke getting loose.
So much for the theory that Phil Hughes would be asked to pitch multiple innings. He's just gotten warmed up and looks like he's coming out.
Good changeup right there to Sano.
A couple of fly balls to center for Sano. And now 2-2. A's are leading the Angels now 7-5. And now 3-2. And since we brought it up earlier in our Sanford Health Injury Report, good news regarding Yoenis Cespedes, just a contusion on his left hand, no broken bones. Ansono takes a walk. He's aboard with 2 down. Now is where you'd like somebody to dial long distance here and at least get the Twins on the board and inject a little life in the dugout.
Yep. 3rd walk for Anderson in a ball game.
Plouffe 0 for 2, comebacker to the mound and a swinging strikeout.
Trevor with a 2-run home run here on Monday night.
Stroke to second. Looked like it actually skipped off the second base bag. And Plouffe with a base hit. We'll see if there are some more 2-out hits that might follow.
Now, second hit for the Twins. Trevor jumping on that first fastball, lining it right back up the middle.
We'll bring up Rosario, who's due for a jam sandwich to land in left field for an RBI single. He has hit 2 balls hard tonight for outs. A liner to Chisenhall in the second and a liner to Lindor, the shortstop, in the 4th. And a number back to the mound. And a better throw by Cody Anderson. The Twins strand 2 in the 6th and still trail 7-0. We move forward here. It's not been a good game here. The Twins have a chance if both the Angels and the Twins lose this evening. Have a chance to start the final 4 games just a game behind the Angels. Ryan O'Rourke will get a chance to pitch here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, O'Rourke making his 27th relief appearance.
Jason Kipnis will be the first man he faces. O'Rourke's been a contributor this year. We just haven't seen much of him lately with the 3 other lefties out in the bullpen, Perkins, Kotz, and Dunsing. And a strike at the knees. Oakland holding a 7-5 lead, even though they've been out hit 10-5 by the Angels. There have been 5 errors in that game. Kipnis taps it foul. And Kipnis strikes out one way.
A good slider right there by O'Rourke.
As promised earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag North Data Strong Fan, a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Ryan Tinklenberg sent us a picture of his cat, who must be a Twins fan.
Thank you, Ryan.
Jose Ramirez will bat. One and one. And to the top of the eighth, with Oakland leading 7-5. That's down the line, but foul. Tomorrow the Twins will face Josh Tomlin. Tyler Duffy will start for the Twins, and then the Twins will finish the season at home. I beg your pardon. Yes, I've been reminded. Josh Tomlin will pitch this weekend, and Trevor Bauer is making the start for the Indians tomorrow. 2-2. But Duffy will start, and ostensibly his last regular season start. There are so many different possibilities for the second wild card spot. One of them is a three-way tie, just off the outside corner, 3-2. I mean, it's possible. The Indians have been eliminated, and it's possible that the Angels, Astros, and Twins will all finish tied for the second wild card spot. Popped up left side of the infield. That's Escobar's ball if he wants it.
He wants it.
2 down. And
that has not happened yet. It'll be interesting when that does happen.
There hasn't even been a two-team tie for the wild card, and the Angels have some interesting decisions to make should that happen. They have the advantage. Remember, it used to be not that long ago there were coin flips to decide not playoff positions, but who would play who, where, and all that. That's why, even though we won the season series, the Twins did, with the White Sox, we had to play in Chicago for game 163 because we lost a coin flip. And I think before they changed the rule, the Twins were like 0 for 27 in coin flips or something like that.
They were using that two-headed coin flip, and the Twins kept saying tails.
Yeah. 1-0. But the Angels have a choice to make, given the scenario of a three-way tie, as to whether they would want to play into the wild card game winning 2 games at home or 1 on the road. And just about everybody I've talked to said, well, you'd take your chance winning 1 on the road rather than trying to win 2 at home. There's nothing that says you're going to win the first game at home and then you're going to win again. Anyway, it's going to be fascinating, and the potential exists for the whole postseason on the American League side to be pushed back because of it. Not only could there be a game 163, there might be a game 164. Right. 2-2. Lindor with an opposite field home run his last time up. Twins have not had a 1-2-3 inning on the mound. O'Rourke trying to do that here. Popped up. Mauer across the line. And O'Rourke comes into the game and has a 1-2-3-6. not been a very good game for the Twins.
Ball hit right up the middle. RBI single by Martinez. That made it a 1-0 ball game. And then a double by Ramirez. That made it 2-0. And then the controversial play at first base was called safe after the review. Then a wild pitch that scored Ramirez. And then Santana hit a ball right back up the middle. That scored Lindor. And then Lindor in the 4th inning, a 2-run home run. And it's 7-0 Indians lead.
Torrey Hunter trying to reverse this game. Just some other incidental factors that may have been big factors as it turned out. And you pointed it out during that delay for the challenge. 4.5 minutes long, and Mike Pelfrey threw one pitch in between, and his very next pitch went to the backstop, scoring the 3rd run, allowing the runner at first, Lindor, who had just been granted first base because of the failed appeal. He went to second, then the base hit up the middle, and it was 4-0. 1-1 to Hunter. He's running out of innings here, and a pitch tapped foul, 1-2.
Well, Anderson has been outstanding here tonight. Only a couple hits allowed. Torrey got the Twins' first hit in the 2nd, and last inning Trevor Plouffe hit a ball up the middle for a base hit.
And fouled back on the play. The ball kind of ran in on Torrey's hands a little bit.
.86 pitches for Anderson, 54 strikes, 3 walks, a couple strikeouts.
Tapper to short. Easy play for Lindor. 1 down.
Another good changeup gets Torrey out front.
That'll bring up Aaron Hicks.
Now stepping in for the Twins, the center fielder, Aaron Hicks.
Hicks with a fly to left and a ground ball to second. Swing and a miss at a 91-mile-per-hour fastball.
Yeah, he might top out at 91, 92, but he does a good job of changing speeds. He may throw another fastball, and it's 88.
90, but off the plate, 1-1. Two and one.
A change up right there at 83, 90 pitches.
Zach McAllister warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. Ricky Nolasco's been warming up in the Twins bullpen. And now 3-1. Hasn't pitched for the Twins since May. Might get a relief inning here tonight. And Hicks takes a walk with 1 out in the 7th.
Yeah, 4th walk by Anderson.
As you said, Twins have just 2 hits, but much like Kyle Gibson this afternoon, who gave up 4 hits and 2 walks, he scattered them. Twins haven't had, well, they got 2 walks in the 3rd inning, but the walk and the 2-out single in the 6th, but the Twins haven't had a runner to third base yet.
And Danny Santana will pinch hit here for Chris Herman.
Santana's been used as a pinch runner, pinch hitter since his recall. He's 0 for 9 as a pinch hitter. One and 0. Popped up to left field. Easy play for Martinez. 2 down. And that'll bring up Escobar. Escobar, a walk and a fly ball to right.
I'm assuming this is Anderson's last inning. 94 pitches, and most innings or pitches he's thrown. 101 came 2 starts ago against the White Sox in a 12-1 win.
And fouled away. Angels have just committed their 4th error. And the A's have added another run in the 8th inning. They lead it 8-5. One strike to Escobar. If the Angels lose that game, then the Astros have the opportunity then to leapfrog the Angels again in the standings if they can beat Seattle. And the Mariners tonight are going to have a bullpen game. They're going to run a bunch of relievers through there in the hopes of winning a ball game. Tapper to short, and again Lindor has an easy play. And Escobar makes it close, but the Twins are done in the 7th. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, the classic quarter pounder with cheese only at McDonald's, and right now just $3. Ricky Nolasco hasn't pitched for the Twins since May 31st. He was reinstated from the disabled list on September 25th, missed 103 games, a right ankle impingement, had it surgically taken care of, and so now he'll get the 7th inning here against the Indians.
Yeah, back on May 31st, he pitched in Minnesota against the Toronto Blue Jays, went into the 2nd inning, and that's when that right ankle really flared up on him, ended up getting a no decision. Twins won that ball game 6-5, and Nolasco in his 7 starts 5-1 with a 5.51 ERA. And Eric Fryer now catching Nolasco.
Carlos Santana will lead off the 7th for Cleveland, and the first one high and tight.
Yeah, Nolasco had that game in Detroit that he gave up 6 runs in 3+ innings. They lost 11-0. That was game 2 of the season, but then he strung together 5 straight wins, and then he had the injury in late May.
Swing and a miss.
They need this guy to stay healthy.
Regardless of what he can contribute yet this year.
Right.
They need him to.
I'm talking next year.
Yeah. And he came into this year having dropped about 20 pounds. And there was a little more life on his fastball. But as you said, the ERA is still high when he went 5-0 in May with an ERA of over 5.5. 2-1. 3-1. Santana, Chisenhall, and Johnson for the Indians in the 7th. On the ground, 2 hops to Dozier. 1 away.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Chisenhall, 1 for 2 with a walk. Strike 1. Indians thought that the move of Chisenhall to the outfield would be a dramatic improvement both for him and the team. And defensively, apparently he's handled things pretty well out there. But now you look at his numbers, and he spent some time in the minor leagues too, but hitting just .244 with 7 home runs, 44 runs batted in. And he's gone on 3 pitches there. Out number 2.
Nolasco picking up a strikeout, so a ground ball and a strikeout for Nolasco. You know, Nolasco had injuries last year. Appeared in 27 ball games, 6-12 last year with an ERA over 5.
It's a pretty good 12-6 drop there.
Yep. He's always had a good curveball.
A little over 10,000 the paid attendance for both games. Basically, if you had a ticket for last night's game that was rained out, or a ticket for tonight's game, you could catch both games. And boy, at the start of the game this afternoon, we might have had 500 people here. A few more people have filled in here. 1-1. Johnson 0 for 3, grounder to third, and 2 comebackers to the mound. And a breaking ball over the inside corner, 1-2. By getting Hughes out there and now Nolasco out there, breaking ball, swing and a miss, and that wraps up the inning. Kind of sets up the notion that this weekend, as you might expect, it'll be all hands on deck as the Twins hope to have a good series against the Royals once they leave Cleveland. were to not play a good ball game here tonight, they didn't get a well-pitched game at all. But if somehow they could not lose any ground and finish this day having picked up a half game on the Angels, but there's some awfully big outs to go yet in Anaheim. Zach McAllister will pitch to the Twins in the 8th inning.
Yeah, Zach McAllister making his 60th relief appearance. He made one start at the beginning of the year, then put into the bullpen. McAllister worked here on Monday night, an inning and a third with 3 strikeouts through 18 pitches, 11 for strikes. Hard throwing right-hander.
Dozier looking for his first hit in this doubleheader, his first hit in the series, and he takes outside, ball 1. Dozier, Mauer, and Sano.
Yeah, good job by Cody Anderson, 7 shutout innings. So 2 very good starts for him against the Twins in back-to-back starts.
2-0. Houston and Seattle are underway at Safeco Field. No score. Here's a ball hit to right center field. Drifting back is Chisenhall, short of the track, makes the catch, 1 away. We'll bring up Mauer. You can follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.tv game of the day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Yeah, just looking at Brian Dozier in both games of the doubleheader, he's 0 for 9 with 7 fly ball outs. So he's just not, he's getting underneath everything right now.
Mauer with 2 big extra base hits this afternoon, 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. You know what we saw Brian do in the first at bat of each game was swing at the first pitch, which of course he does that if he likes it up. If he gets a pitch up where he likes it, he likes to wail and bail on it.
They're just not squaring up very solidly right now.
The chopper to short. Easy play for Lindor. 2 down. And with the exception of Mauer, and this is the point I think we were trying to make a few weeks ago, Joe's been through this before. He's a remnant of a Twins roster that perennially went to the postseason. But guys like Dozier and Plouffe, we consider them veterans, yet they are like Rosario and Sano, experiencing all of this for the first time. How to put together a series of good at-bats in the season's final week when everything is at stake. Here's Sano. 2 fly balls and a walk, and he takes a strike. And unless or until you go through it and learn from it, you really don't know how you're going to react.
Right.
And I think maybe in some cases we've seen some of that. Fouled away, 2 strikes.
You know, Plouffe came up in 2010, but he wasn't really part of the winning part. Only played in 22 ball games, hit only 146.
2 strikes. Half swing. You know, and Hicks has vastly improved this year, but now he's going through all of this for the first time. Escobar. Fun game this afternoon, but a lot of head shaking this afternoon, or tonight I should say. 1-2. 2-2.
Well, again, the tempo of the ball game is created by the starter. This afternoon, Gibson gave him that one run. Joe Mauer hit the home run. Gibson put zeros on the board. And then the Twins exploded for 4 runs, opened it up a little bit. Gibson pitched great, 6 shutout innings. And here in the nightcap, just Pelfrey was not on.
2-2 to Miguel Sano. Twins would like to see Sano hit one out just to recapture that feeling that home run hitters get when they feel good and feel like they're ready to drive the ball. He has picked up some hits, but hasn't homered in a week and a half. There it is. Wow.
That'll break a seat.
A bullet to the bleachers. His 18th home run of the year, and there was no doubt about that from the time he made contact.
Yeah, McAllister challenged him with a high fastball, and Miguel Sano jumped all over it. It did not take long to get out.
Back when I worked with Harmon Killebrew, he called those get small quick balls because they started to disappear from view from the point of contact very quickly.
436 feet they measure that home run. Now watch out.
That's by the way, the young lady, I believe it was, who got that baseball, that's how you want to end up with one of those after it hits the bleachers a couple of times and rolls to a stop. One strike.
Strong young man, Miguel Sano.
So if nothing else, and very likely his last plate appearance here tonight, he's rediscovered that feeling. Move swings and misses, 1 and 2. One and 2 to Plouffe. Clobbered a 2-run home run here a couple nights ago. Took one down the middle for strike 3. Sano hits number 18. The Twins are on the board, but they're down by 6 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Ricky Nolasco out there for his second inning of work. He'll face Almonte, Moore, and Martinez.
Yeah, and a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th with a couple strikeouts through 12 pitches.
Well, the Twins still hope to get to postseason play. They hope to get to the wild card game, win it, and now if that were to happen, now you have to set up a rotation, and I'm not so sure, as implausible as it might have been just a couple days ago. I mean, who would you put in the Twins rotation? Let's say they get through all of that, and now you have the opportunity to take on whoever it would be in the ALDS. The ball hit down the line, and that doesn't have any hook on it. And Almonte will have another extra base hit against the Twins. It's a leadoff double.
Yeah, his third hit of the ball game, his second double.
All right, you know Gibson's in, right?
Yep,
Santana's in. Duffy, at some point now, the innings pitch total is going to be a factor. I'm not saying you're going to take him out, but that's been a concern through September.
Well, I stay with Duffy. You know, I read his reaction. I've heard what he said. He feels strong and he's excited and looking forward to him pitching tomorrow night.
You need 4 men. You need a 4th starter. You do Malone.
Yeah, I think a lot depends on who you play. If you
that's
play
right.
the Yankees,
You said Santana, and he's out.
Right.
He's not in the postseason.
Well, I thought you were talking at game 160.
After the wild card game. And if the Twins get to the wild card game, it's whoever's the freshest and whoever they think. Santana's out.
Okay.
So Gibson, Malone, Duffy, and
could be Velasco. It could be Hughes. It'd be one of those two.
That's your way of saying that Mike Pelfrey would not get a start. Okay. All right. Moore, the batter. You know, and Malone, as well as he pitched here the other day, he's had some physical issues. Twins haven't been able to count on him. So with the expressed concern about Duffy's innings pitched this year, the one sure thing really is Gibson. And then you hope Hughes, although he just pitched 1 inning here, Nolasco at least being stretched out's the right term. At least he's given a chance to pitch 2 innings.
He picks up another strikeout, his third. Adam Moore striking out for the second time.
Carsoup.com trivia question. Twins with 5. I don't know if the Indians had even 3 during that time. Okay. Chris Chambliss.
Oh, Joe Charmino.
And Sandy Alomar.
Sandy Alomar Jr. coaching over at first base.
Twins in a Rookie of the Year drought by their standards. They haven't had one since Cordova in '95. And I don't know that the Twins have ever had a rookie class as impactful as the class this year the Twins hope will be. That's a very poorly constructed sentence, but I think you know what I mean. Rosario, Sano, Buxton, May.
You have to go back to '82 when Herbeck and Gaetti, those guys.
Laudner, Viola,
Bernansky, I believe.
Yep. 1 strike to Martinez. And inside. Houston's batting in the second, no score at Safeco Field with the Mariners. They're in the top of the 9th with Oakland leading the Angels 8-6. I don't think anyone felt too good about Oakland's chances of beating Garrett Richards with Barry Zito starting for them. Zito gave up 2 home runs in 4 innings. And if the A's don't beat the Angels, it won't be because of the starting pitching matchup. It'll be because of the bullpen. 2-2.
Houston Street is out for the Angels, but I understand Joe Smith might be available now.
Yeah, he injured his ankle in a hotel accident in Minneapolis a week and a half ago. Swing and a miss. And Velasco has another strikeout. He's faced 6 men and struck out 4 of them.
Right. That big curveball. Changing speeds, couple fastballs, and then a tight curveball.
Fox Strikes presented by Carrier. 2 down. And Almonte still at second after his leadoff double. Here's Kipnis.
Fastball clocked as 91. That's good. As low as 72.
Kipnis will be walked. So now first and second and 2 down for Jose Ramirez. Quick trip to the mound by catcher Eric Fryer to talk to Nolasco. One and 0. th pitch for Nolasco. Clobbered to right. And gone. 3-run home run.
Home run number 6 on the year for Ramirez. So they intentionally walked Kipnis to get to Ramirez. But Nolasco left a pitch up, and Ramirez makes it a 10-1 ball game. Second home run in the ball game for the Indians.
And another big 2-out hit. That's kind of been their story. They couldn't buy a 2-out hit of any substance this afternoon, but they sure have gotten some big ones tonight.
Well, the fastball right there in the upper part of the Fox tracks.
And a little bad flip there. Oh, that was pretty. There's a bad flip.
Little mustard on that hot dog.
The old Tom Lawless bat flip from the '87 World Series.
We showed them, didn't we?
Here's Lindor. That's to the left field corner, but foul.
Well, you hit it good. Of course, you sit there and admire it a little bit, but that right there. And you can see Kurt Suzuki and even manager Others giving him something. Giving him heck.
Flipping it toward the Twins dugout. Whether that was what infuriated the Twins dugout or not, I don't know. But there's one game left in this season series, and that comes up tomorrow.
Well, good to see the fire.
1-2. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and that wraps things up. 3 more for the Indians that they're probably not going to need. A little flare shown by Jose Ramirez after a 3-run home run. been an ugly night for the Twins after winning comfortably today. They've been trounced pretty soundly, 10-1. And Jose Ramirez added a little flair to a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. So that might be something that will be revisited tomorrow.
We'll have to wait and see.
Now you're grinning. Like,
well, the only bad part is you have Tyler Duffy out there. But somewhere down the line, they will remember that. Here's Justin Adams coming into the ball game. 5 stints up and down between AAA and the big leagues for Adams. Adams making his 28th relief appearance.
One and one.
Well, when you've got a team down 7-1 and then in the bottom of the 8th inning you hit a 3-run home run, you just run around the bases. You don't embarrass the other team, and I think that's why everybody was on that top step. Even the manager was there.
Well, he carried the bat. He carried the bat halfway to first, and then flipped it towards the Twins dugout. 2-1, and of course, there's nothing that says Ramirez is even going to be in the starting lineup tomorrow. Max Kepler's in the on-deck circle. He'll get his second big league at bat as soon as Rosario clobbers one to left center field. This ball's up and back and gone. Rosario again with an opposite field home run. And Rosario had some parting words for Jose Ramirez as they gathered near second base.
Eddie Rosario with his 13th home run of the year. Adams throwing a fastball away, and Rosario shows off his power. He has something to say to Ramirez.
Up and away, a ball.
I like it.
Rosario dropped his bat and ran to first. And a little fire in the Twins dugout tonight, and that's down 10-2, and it's not been a good game by any stretch of the imagination. But we got one game left in this series, and it's going to be an interesting one tomorrow night.
Here's Max Kepler hitting for Torrey Hunter in his second major league appearance.
Said after his first major league at bat in Detroit, he got kind of caught up and got his term a little swing happy. Well, now he's got a 2-0 count. Checked his swing, and it's 3-0. And rears back 96 down the middle. It's 3-1.
They should get another fastball here.
It's behind third and near the tarp and out of play. 3-2. Be a fun night in the Twins after this awful game of this second game of this doubleheader. Will need to win tomorrow. Tyler Duffy's just been outstanding. Trevor Bauer's had a difficult last few starts. What next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. 3-2 to Kepler. And a high fastball got him. One away.
That fastball clocked here at 96.
Aaron Hicks will bat. Cole Calhoun with a home run. It's a one-run game in the bottom of the ninth in Anaheim. The Angels have had so many late inning wins, threatening to do it again. Mike Trout with a walk, nobody out. The tying runs on. Hicks takes down and in, and it's 1-1.
Well, the magic of that monkey. The monkey rally.
Chop to the right side. And Ramirez with the play, 2 down. bring up Eric Fryer, who will hit here, having finished the game behind the plate. Twins with a couple of solo home runs here late, but both with the bases empty, and it's a lopsided lead for the Indians. Fryer with a foul, and that got a piece of Adam Moore. Ouch. One strike to Fryer. And now 0-2. Fryer 19 at bats on the year and 11 strikeouts. He's coming after a minor league season where he was hitting over 300 and it looked like he figured some things out at the plate. That's down the left field line, and that's going to be a fair ball and should be an extra base hit for Fryer. Eric Fryer with a double with 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Just threw the fastball by him at 95-96, and then he he sped his bat up, and he threw him a breaking ball, and Fryer took advantage of it and hit the double.
Number 5, Eduardo Escobar.
Got scared there for a second. Because on Twitter, you know, you have to try to condense your facts. 140 characters. I just read from someone that I follow. Mike Trout walks off Athletics, but he got a walk off the Athletics Sean Doolittle. So here's Escobar trying to keep the game still alive for the Twins, and there's a ball down and away. Ball 1. Sean Doolittle trying to pin down an important ball game for the Twins, about 2,000 miles from where the Twins are playing. Chopped up the middle. Ramirez throws off balance to end a lopsided Cleveland win. This doubleheader is split. When the Twins got a good start from their starting pitcher, they won, and then tonight they did not. And we'll update the wild card standings for you. The Twins, with a win and a loss, are right where they were in relation to the Angels and the Astros, but the Angels are behind in the 9th inning. Houston scoreless in the 2nd in Seattle. And Anthony, will see what happens in the games west of here. The Twins missed an opportunity to complete a doubleheader sweep.